Fighting games are hard. Like, super hard. When I say this, I'm not talking about how much easier fighting games are these days compared to the classics, or how easy it is to mash to win online or beat your best friend. I'm talking about how hard it is to actually be good at a fighting game. When compared to many other genres, fighting games are one of the hardest to get into. Why? Think about it this way. You can play Sonic the Hedgehog and then play Mario the next day and have literally zero issues. They both play kinda similarly. If you've played Street Fighter for years and expect to be competent at the next NetherRealm game or the latest anime fighter, then as my northern brethren would say,
are you having a laugh?
Fighting game skills absolutely carry over in terms of reactions and fundamentals, but there are upwards of 20 characters in almost all fighting games these days, each character having very different movesets, the games themselves having very different complicated mechanics, and so much to learn. This is perhaps one of the main reasons why a lot of other genres are so much bigger than fighting games, and whereas the fighting game community is growing and getting esports, the fact still remains that fighting games are really hard. So you should just give up.
Representing America, give it up for Long Island John!
If you're still watching this, then it's probably because you love fighting games as much as I do, or waiting to hear what the hell my point is. Injustice 2 was released a couple weeks ago and Tekken 7 is coming out literally days from now. There will be many beginners who pick up these games because simply, they want to be Batman. For me, the coolest thing about fighting games is that you have full control over your character, be it a superhero, a thunder god, a Japanese idol, to each their own. The player uses their skills and reactions to beat the skills, reactions and mind games of the player on the other side of the screen. So if you're a beginner, how do you break through this very real wall of this genre? Here are a few tips and mindsets that I know helped me and could help you in the process of learning this awesome genre. Know that you're a scrub. This sounds really harsh, but what I mean is there are no true masters of fighting games. You can never complete a fighting game. Sure, you can feel like a god after you win an online match, a local tournament, or even win EVO, but that isn't the end of the game. You can never truly master a fighting game. I think gamers and musicians are very similar. No musician picked up their instrument of choice and became a master overnight. They play daily, they practice daily, and they are always trying to achieve mastery, but there is always someone better. This is the mindset you should have if you're trying to master anything, and this is the mindset you should have if you're playing a fighting game. It's different to an RPG, a platformer, or puzzle game. You will suck at the beginning, but being okay with this is the key to getting better. Use training mode. I really cannot stress the importance of training mode. The allure of jumping straight online and playing your favorite character is strong, and it's okay to do that, but you should really be spending just as much time in training mode as you do online or real matches. Back in the day, there was no online mode and there was no training mode. All you could literally do was fight against your friends or take the game to a local tournament to practice. Training mode is now in almost all modern fighting games these days and should be your main tool for learning the ins and outs of your character, training against other characters and learning your combos. The topic of training mode is very extensive and I want to go into more detail of how to use training mode more effectively in a future video, but for now, training mode is there folks. You should really use it. Watch matches of people better than you. A really great way to learn a fighting game is by watching tournament footage from all over the world. It's easier now more than ever to get information about your character being played by one of the top players in the world. Fantastic starting point is Team Spooky's channel. Spooky runs a stream of the majority of fighting game tournaments and uploads tournament footage literally days after the tournament is over. You can get strategies and matchup knowledge as well as seeing how your character is played at a very high level. You can then take this knowledge into training mode and then try to apply this in a real match. It's also an exercise of working out the mindsets of top players. To many beginners, the world famous Daigo uppercut looks like a random uppercut that he throws out every now and again. But when watching, try to ask yourself why he did it. And 9 times out of 10, why on earth does it keep working? Focus on movement. Every fighting game has a unique way of moving, and it should really be one of the first things you learn in a fighting game, even before you learn your combo. If you can't get into the correct position and situation to actually hit that combo, then that combo is essentially useless. At the beginning of Street Fighter V's competitive life, Infiltration danced circles around the competition simply because he got a handle of movement before seemingly everyone else. He made Nash look cheap, and arguably the top tier character in the game because of how he utilized the space on the screen through his backdashing and normals. In Tekken, it is extremely difficult to move around a screen with ease without the use of backdash cancelling, also known as Korean backdashing. It's a skill that has to be learned in order to compete with the competent players of that game. Every fighting game moves differently. You should really take the time to learn it. Pick a character that fits you. Not everyone will be for you. This is a tricky one for me because I'm absolutely of the belief that you should pick whoever you want and for whatever reason you have. The truth of the matter is not every character is for you. If you can't pull off a 360 motion with ease, then maybe you shouldn't play Zangief in Street Fighter V. Sure, you could learn it if you love that character enough and put in the time, but I think it's equally important to check out every character in that game and see who you gel with. You might be surprised who you end up playing because they just feel right. It can be incredibly frustrating if you pick a character and you can't move with them, or their combos are too hard, they're too fast, too slow, and so on. As I mentioned before, you can pick whoever you like. Personally, this is what I do, but you have to understand it will be a harder mountain to climb if you don't gel well with that character. I play Jin Kazama in Tekken and will play him in Tekken 7 simply because I have done so since Tekken 3. It's an emotional pick, but I also know I'm terrible at applying his parry effectively, which will limit the potential of that character in my hands. I have to get better at using it, which actually brings me to my last point. Set small goals for yourself. One of my goals, for example, would be to parry Dragunov's running 2. Goals should be specific so that you can actually achieve them. Use Jin's parry more. Doesn't cut it because I'm not making it clear where, how, or when I'm applying it. I can't really improve this way. Dragunov's running 2 is one of his best moves. It would be on his top 10 best moves for sure. It's safe on block, knocks down on hit, and leads to a full combo on counter hit. Dragunov players love to bully the cast with it because they know it's good. If they know the player can't deal with it, then they're just going to keep doing it. It's safe on block, so what are they going to do after it's blocked? Whatever they want to. Likely do it again. Jin can parry this move and a lot of moves on the roster to recover quicker than the opponent and fully punish his opponent so that they will think twice about using that move again. It's a powerful tool, and I think of it as unlocking the potential of your character. This is a good thing to practice in practice mode before you expect to be able to do it in a real match. Good specific goals could be low parrying the second hit of Law's Junkyard and punishing it correctly, punish Ken's run in Street Fighter V every time he tries it, duck and punish the highs of strings, anti-air every time the opponent jumps at you, and etc. Things like this will eventually become muscle memory and you'll just do them naturally over time. This is by no means a definitive list of how to make fighting games easier, but I really believe that using these concepts and tactics can make entering this genre for new players a little less painful. Fighting games are hard, but they really reward your dedication, and fighting games are hype as hell. Now go kick someone's ass. I really want to give a big thank you to everyone who checked out my last video, commented and subscribed. That video surpassed any expectations I could have for a first video. I'm just a guy who loves fighting games and I wanted to share it with you all. You make this all worth it and I really just wanted to say thank you. If you want information on upcoming videos and fighting game news, please consider giving me a follow on Twitter as I often post what's upcoming and sometimes ask what you all want to see. Thanks again and I'll see you in the next video.